What's going on out here in beautiful Flagstaff, Arizona? It's June 23rd. Today's a high of 75 up here. Think about a low of 45, so pretty good difference from the valley. It's about a 25-degree difference to be exact. So this feels real nice. Just needed to escape the noise a little bit. I talked a lot in my last video about everything that's been going on in the last few months in between late February, early March, and now. I left a job that was really comfortable to me. Was there for a little over 3 years. Started a new job. A few weeks ago, I started a second new job, bartending. I've moved, and now I'm moving again a week from tomorrow to an apartment in Scottsdale. And then exactly a week after that, the following Tuesday, I'm going to Newport Beach for almost a week because my closest friend of 18 years is getting married. So I'm stoked about that. I just got to finish up my best man speech. I was actually working on that here a little bit before starting to film this. So I've got to touch that up, finalize it, make it awesome. But yeah, I hadn't gone out of town a whole lot since my last move on March 1st. And since I had 4 days back to back to back off, I thought, why the hell not? So, busted out the hammock. And I realized too, it's been a minute since I've just kicked back in a hammock and just chilled out, listened to the sounds of nature and or my tunes. And just chilled. So got the tunes, the hammock, had the tripod out, but the ground's pretty uneven right here. Got some snacks in the bag. Life is good, especially today. So one of the main reasons I wanted to make this video is I saw this video recently about micro adventures. And I realized when I started filming this one here, in all 3 videos so far, I've mentioned other videos that inspired me. And I honestly don't remember the name of the creator off the top of my head. And if I make it big one of these days, I'll go back and shout out all the people along the way that inspired me. But I did my due diligence somewhat, and I gave this guy subscribed, liked his video, maybe commented. But yeah, he talks about micro adventures, and I really liked it because this is something I've been a big proponent on for at least a few years now. But sometimes even if you know something to be true, hearing it out of somebody else's mouth is a nice reminder. So he just talks about breaking up the monotony here and there and just doing something that you like. I think for a lot of people who, just go to work, go back home, I think they make a big deal about going out of town. Like they think it's this big thing that takes so much planning. And I'm not saying put no preparation into going up north, going out of town. I don't think he was saying that either. It should take some planning and some effort, but it doesn't need to be this big thing. I mean, unless you're going to like Hawaii or Europe, you can't just do that on the spot unless you're rich. But a trip like this, sure, I'm not a total newbie to, day trips, weekend trips, but it was easy. I mean, I got here yesterday afternoon and I booked the Airbnb the night before that at almost midnight. So I have 4 days off in a row. It just kind of worked out that way with both jobs. And it was on my mind last weekend. Hey, what if I go up north? It's been a while. I need it. I need some nature in my life. But throughout the week, I didn't think too much of it because I was occupied with other stuff. And then my work week ended late Saturday afternoon. It's like, you know what? I'm going to do that. So I got an Airbnb later that night. Booked a 2-night stay. And the next morning, went to the gym, did some stuff around my room, started packing up. Here I am. Treated myself to some dinner last night. Can't remember the name of the restaurant off the top of my head either, but it was a small but fairly fancy restaurant. And since I don't go out to eat too often anyway, and this is just like a nice weekend trip. I say weekend, it's Monday. It's my weekend. Since it's a nice weekend for myself, I did get the most expensive thing on the menu. I got the elk tenderloin, and it was exceptional. Flavorful, tender, juicy, the whole nine. It was damn near perfect. And then I got a pineapple old fashioned. So instead of a cherry, it was like a dehydrated pineapple. It was, instead of just straight bourbon, it was equal parts bourbon and a spiced rum. And then I think a little bit of vanilla simple syrup. So the cocktail along with that dish, elk tenderloin, damn near perfect. Yeah, it was nice. But yeah, these trips don't need to be this big thing. Yeah, I treated myself to a nice dinner last night, but I'm planning for the rest of my meals to be stuff that I brought with me. And later I'm gonna go get a sandwich from Sprouts. For breakfast this morning, I made some bacon and eggs, some potatoes from Trader Joe's. I had everything I needed with me or at the Airbnb. They had pots, pans, olive oil, an air fryer. Gonna go get that sandwich later. I brought this chicken pasta dish to make tonight. I might get brunch in the morning on the way out, but if I get up early enough, I may just do the same thing I did this morning, make some bacon and eggs and potatoes. But my point in saying that though is, you know, if you bring most of your stuff, you find a good deal on Airbnb, shit, you can even camp out if you have the equipment for that. It doesn't have to be super expensive and take several hours of planning. Like, it can be pretty easy. So I like that idea of micro adventures, as he put it, because it just breaks up the monotony. I know some people just go to work, go back home, and do the same thing every day. You can make your week and your month a lot more exciting if you just look a little bit, do a little bit of research online, whatever state you live in, what's cool nearby. Might even be in your own backyard. You just never think to look. Luckily, I'm fortunate to live in the beautiful state of Arizona, where I can just drive a couple hours up north and I'm in a completely new scenery. I'm up in the woods, higher elevation, pine trees. It's way cooler up here. The air just feels fresher. But I'm sure any state, there's a good getaway destination. Just, yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of research, but it doesn't need to take days or weeks of planning. Just look. Just look and do it. Don't think too hard about it. And I forget if I said this at the beginning of the video, but I'm not saying to be irresponsible and just, you know, drive several hours away from home with zero planning. I'm not at all saying that, but, you know, it doesn't need to be this big burden to go out of town and enjoy yourself a little bit. So this is a reminder for myself and whoever watching to incorporate more micro adventures into your week, your month, whatever your schedule allows. I know if you work 50, 60 hours a week, you have kids at home, it's not quite as easy, but I believe it can be done no matter your circumstance. So get out there and do something.